All right, and I got we could probably wrap after this one. This audio should come through. We got a question from Linnea. She was gracious enough to send us some audio. We're gonna let this rock.
Hey Tripp, what are some good ways to maneuver when dealing with someone who was raised on survival and not love? How do you create a safe space to allow them to be able to embrace that love?
Alright, check me out. I gotta first ask, are you safe? Has whoever you're referring to come along far enough that they're not damaging folks in personal relationship? Cause you learn some fucked up practices when you raised off survival. I'm not saying it wasn't no love in my house. It was plenty of love in my house. But as far as like the life we were living, it was about survival. You feel me? So I got like a foot in both. And you learn some pretty unhealthy shit. Because survival mode, like, it legitimately, like, and I'm talking about fight or flight. It impedes on one's ability to think long term, like the actual parts of your brain that think long term, that set goals, that think about the future, like they're shut down in order to make you hyper alert in the moment, right? In order to survive. So too much of this, I'm not saying like brain damages, but it like on some, you don't use it, you lose it. Like you kind of get stuck there and you get reduced to thinking about right now. You get reduced to, and I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with being present, but again, you are in effect shutting down certain parts of your brain. You feel me? So when you talk about goal setting and you talk about the progress in a relationship and you talk about closeness and all of them things, man, it starts to get difficult, I think, to show up in a certain way that can guarantee the safety of other people long term.
Let me ask you a question. When you say something, when you mention like goal setting, right? So if someone has a goal of coming from a place of survival, that traumatic survival, they want to be in said lifestyle. Say they want to make the infamous 6 figures, right? But they don't take the steps to make that happen. Would you say that's the same, or is that different from like not having a long-term mindset?
I think it can all exist in the same space. So like I think we could use that example to break down perhaps a person in survival mode viewing that 6 figures.
Gotcha.
You'll have some people who will outright resort to the fast lane. It's people who resort to illegal means. You'll have some people who can't actually, and when I say goal set, I mean like really think about where am I going to be in 3 years?
Yeah.
And how does that, from this point, take me closer to that 6 figures? Because I'm thinking about today and getting to and perhaps through tomorrow. And it's not to say these people don't desire truly to have this lifestyle. Again, it's parts of the brain that are being impacted.
Yeah.
So it's like you'll have a kid. I'm gonna just work hard. I'm gonna just work. Well, okay. Well, what you gonna do over the next 90 days to get there? I don't know. I ain't really thought that far ahead. And you like, nigga, that's 3 months. What do you mean? You got reports that's doing 3 months. How you not? It's shit on your real ass syllabus that requires your attention. That's doing 3 months. You know, it's not to say that the person raised in survival can't love. It's not to say that they incapable of relationship, and that's what I'm saying. It matters like how far have they come as far as how they were raised and then establishing a relationship and love for themselves, because that's really what it's about. Like a person don't have to have all of a sudden have a fixed home and their whole family situation worked out. It's just like, bro, did you realize that there were certain things that weren't a part of your childhood? Did you realize that perhaps you were left lacking or underdeveloped in certain areas, and what have you done to improve? You know what I'm saying? Again, it's like, that's why the first thing I ask is, are you safe? Like, you, person who professes that you were raised in love and the other person was raised in survival, are you safe? Can you recognize that this person has been able to evolve to the point that they can at least cultivate safety, right? They may not be able to love as intensely as you can, or may not be as willing to be as vulnerable as fast as you are, to the depth that you are, but are you at least safe? In the process of learning these things, should you choose to create an environment for them to learn, in the process of them learning these things, do they have the wherewithal to practice without damaging you? Do you have boundaries in place that would allow them to practice and become better without harming you? I think that is a much more efficient focal point, perhaps, to start. Because if you don't have safety, right, if you don't have boundaries, you're gonna go around and end up backsliding, trying to, be a hero to somebody. I'll tell you, like we said on the last episode, take your cape off. Take your cape off. Human beings, take your cape off. It's time for that. After we do anti-goofy, we gonna run on that campaign. I don't know what we gonna call it yet. I ain't got no cool shit to say just yet. But take your capes off, man. Like, we not doing that no more. You can appreciate yourself best by appreciating your own humanity, right? Coming into a very real understanding that you are not perfect, and appreciating that, like actually appreciating the fact that you don't know everything, that you can't do everything, because then you come into a greater appreciation for what you are and who you are. No, I may not be able to run a fucking 4.240. That's cool. My poems are fire, bro. They're fire. I appreciate that about myself. I may not be able to draw from a photographic memory. I never did become the Black Bob Ross. But my fashion sense is fire. I put together art every time I get dressed when I want to. You know what I'm saying? Like, I appreciate me.
You got to pin that. That was cold. I ain't gonna front. I ain't trying to gas you.
Bless.
That was cold.
Bless. So it's like I can appreciate Bob Ross more, knowing that, like, damn, that was so cold. Like, you can't just go be the Black Bob Ross. You know what I'm saying? And I hope I hope I'm not going so far with the example that is losing folks. I kind of leave it there. Like, we ain't gotta beat the dead horse again. Like, just take your capes off, bruh. Like, appreciate your humanity, and then perhaps, like, I think you may be able to even empathize on a deeper level with the person across from you when you realize that, like, man, it's not my job to save this person. So let me aid this person in saving themselves. Maybe I can do that. Just maybe I could do that, right? Maybe I could assist you in getting you together. But, like, actually saving you, we need to be better humans. And part of being a better human is understanding that you're not a savior.